Welcome to Story Realm, where fantasy stories come to life through immersive narration. Today's story is Unrivaled Medicine God. A legendary alchemy emperor was betrayed and lost everything. But death was not the end. Reborn in a weak body, he carries the knowledge and power of his past life. This time, he will make the world bow before him. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Can this thing even be eaten? Translator, Selefuata _ Editor, Regius. Professor. Cough, cough, cough! On top of a sandalwood bed with an antique style, laid a sickly youth who abruptly started coughing violently. It looked as if he would not stop unless he coughs up his lungs out. The youth's lips were purplish and his face was pale. It was a clear sign that he was not long for this world. However, his violent cough made the young madam beside him frantic. The young madam looked around 30 years old, and even though she was not in her prime, she still retained her graceful charm. At this moment, her tightly locked brows finally eased up slowly, and she quickly grabbed hold of that sickly youth's hand. Yuan, you finally woke up. You scared Mother to death. Quickly call the family head back. Yuan already woke up, so the matter at hand is to treat Yuan first. We will settle this debt with the Yuan family in the future. The servant quickly left upon hearing the young madam's orders. Yet at this moment, the youth paid no heed to all these and only focused on coughing. Suddenly, pwark! A mouthful of black blood was spat out. The black blood quickly corroded a large hole in the bedding. Clearly, it was highly toxic. After spitting out that mouthful of blood, the youth seemed to completely relax. He looked at the anxious young madam, and a strange yet familiar feeling welled up inside his heart. He attempted to recall who this woman was, only to feel a splitting headache. Yuan, what's wrong? Is the intestine-rupturing grass poison triggering again? Quick, bring a high-grade detoxification pill for young master to eat, the young madam said with a face full of concern. Another servant left to follow the order. The youth used this chance to rearrange the multitude of memories in his brain, and then he finally remembered who the woman in front of his eyes was. This woman was none other than his biological mother, Ren Hongling. And he himself, or more accurately, the original owner of this body, was called Ye Yuan. Ye Yuan was born in one of the top alchemy families within the state of Qin. The family head was Ye Hong, who was also Ye Yuan's father, a low-rank alchemy grandmaster, an existence who held a prominent position within the state of Qin. But sadly, Ye Hong was a tiger father who begot a dog for a son, having a useless silk pants, Ye Yuan, for a son. He only knew how to cause trouble every day and harmed good women. He did not even manage to become an alchemy apprentice after so long. It was such a disgrace that his face was thrown all the way back to his grandma's place. However, Ye Hong did not mind all these. He never had any expectations for his son and had let Ye Yuan do whatever he wanted. He was even overprotective of him to the extreme. Every time Ye Yuan caused trouble outside, Ye Hong would end up wiping his ass. But as a father, he always hoped for his son to be promising. In the end, Ye Hong paid a huge price to admit Ye Yuan into the Danwu Academy, all just for the off chance that he would learn something. Who would have thought that this punk Ye Yuan would get jealous over a woman and confidently challenged someone to a detoxification competition? The end result was that he poisoned himself to death. After recalling his predecessor's memory, Ye Yuan sighed lightly. The original owner of this body could be considered one of a kind. To have actually killed himself in such manner, what sort of great courage and intellect were needed to do this? Forget it. To think that I, Qingyunzi, a dignified alchemy emperor successor, would one day end up transmigrated into the body of a silk pants. But since the heavens blessed me, Qingyunzi, to rebirth once more, I will take revenge for father, for myself, and kill that wildly ambitious traitor with my own hands. Thinking up to this point, Ye Yuan's expression became fierce, and his eyes filled with killing intent. Ren Hongling obviously noticed Ye Yuan's expression, and he thought that Ye Yuan bore a grudge towards that punk from the Yuan family for harming him. She quickly tried to console him and said, "Son, one should abide one's time and wait for the right opportunity to seek vengeance. Our Ye family will definitely settle this debt, but right now, the most important thing for you is to recuperate. We can discuss other matters in the future." Feeling Ren Hongling's motherly love, Ye Yuan felt touched in his heart. He inherited this body, so he naturally also inherited this body's feelings. No matter how much of a bastard Ye Yuan was outside, he cared deeply for his parents who loved him very much. "Mother, I'm sorry to have worried you." Ren Hongling was stunned by her son's words. This punk caused trouble all the time outside that her heart was almost crushed, and yet she had never heard this punk say any heartfelt words. What's wrong with him today? Could it be that after this incident, he suddenly woke up to reality? After being stunned for a while, Ren Hongling immediately became overjoyed. With tears in her eyes, she said, "As long as you are all right." At this moment, bam! The door to the room was kicked open. "You aren't dead yet, you punk! You really scared your father!" A thunderous voice shouted, making Ye Yuan's eardrums hurt. Even though the words were not very pleasant, anyone could hear the joy and concern within those words. Needless to say, the family head, Ye Hong, has arrived. Ye Hong was born a little boorish. Nobody would connect him with his noble status as an alchemy grand master. In fact, he looked more like a rugged man from the mountains. Hearing her husband's words, Ren Hongling turned over and glared at him. "Yuan heir just escaped death. Can't you say something nicer?" Ye Hong did not mind her words and took a glance at the black blood before calming down. He laughed and said, "Looks like my, Ye Hong's son, has a blessed life. To even survived this, ha ha ha. Come, quickly swallow this detoxification pill and purge the residual toxins from your body. You should be fine afterward." Ye Hong casually took out a medicinal pill and was just about to stuff it into Ye Yuan's mouth. Seeing this, Ye Yuan immediately jumped in fright and quickly shrunk back into his bed. "Can this thing even be eaten?" Ye Yuan cried out in shock. Glaring with anger in his eyes, Ye Hong snarled, "You little punk, did the poison screw your brain up? Did you forget what status your father has?" Ren Hongling also thought that Ye Yuan had some misgiving about the pill and quickly said, "Yuan heir, your father is an alchemy grand master. Even if His Majesty meets him, he will show some respect. Furthermore, this is your father. Would he possibly harm you?" Ye Yuan's mouth twitched, and he declined to comment. He obviously knew that this medicinal pill was a detoxification pill, only that its quality was a little too weak. In his past life, Qingyunzi's father was an alchemy emperor. He grew up eating medicinal pills as if he was eating jelly beans. How could he not even recognize something ordinary like the detoxification pill? Although eating this pill would help to restrain the toxins in his body, its effects were too weak and would not be able to thoroughly eliminate all the residual toxins within his body. The average alchemists were unable to detect these toxins, and it would not have too great of an effect on Ye Yuan's health in the future. But these toxins would lay hidden inside his body and would continuously become the body's burden. It would even affect his future advancements in the martial path. The intestine-rupturing grass naturally was not worth mentioning in Ye Yuan's eyes. It was not even worth much in Ye Hong's eyes. It was just that when Ye Yuan was sent back home, the poison already spread thoroughly. He was only breathing in and not out, unable to even eat the detoxification pill. That's why Ye Hong was utterly helpless and was preparing to bring people to go fight it out with the Yuan family. Before dying, Qingyunzi was already at the Alchemy Emperor's standard, so he could not be any more clear about these medicinal theories. His worldview and horizon obviously could not be compared with an alchemy grandmaster like Ye Hong. Looking at his son's expression, Ye Hong felt severely provoked. "You little punk! To actually dare question your father's pill refinement standards." Ye Yuan stared helplessly at the dull-looking black pill in his father's hand. Looking once again at the rage in his father's eyes, he opened his mouth and said, "Red abalone grass was more by 2 parts, and green snake gall lacked by 1 part. It should have been a result of inadequate control when refining the pill. The biggest mistake was adding iron sulfate into the detoxification pill. Not only did it not improve the medicinal effects, it even messed up the composition of this detoxification pill. Father, since you have difficulty refining Tier 3 medicinal pill, you should just lower your standards." Ye Hong's facial expression was fascinating right now. He was at first angry, followed by astonishment, and finally, he was left dumbfounded. He was the one who refined this pill, so he was naturally aware of its properties. Ye Yuan's analysis was as if he saw it with his own eyes, and even if he saw it personally, he should not be able to analyze it this accurately. Is this punk really his son? Ye Hong could not help but become suspicious. Only after sizing him up did he confirm that this was indeed his son. "Stop staring. I'm your son, really." Seeing Ye Hong's expression, Ye Yuan could not help but feel a little guilty, so he quickly defended himself. "Hey, brat, you couldn't possibly have pretended to be a pig in order to eat a tiger in the past, right? That's not right, because if you were really playing a sucker to catch a sucker, then why is it that you can't even resolve the poison from the intestine-rupturing grass?" Ye Hong felt that things did not quite add up. Thank you for listening to Unrivaled Medicine God, Chapters 1 to 3. This is just the beginning. With over 3,000 chapters ahead, the journey is only getting started. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to Story Realm for more fantasy audiobooks. See you in the next video.